Yes, sir. That probably need to be noted, and that's one.
So you want it ready?
While on the agenda, it notes that we're looking for staff is recommending a contract revision. Technically, we have no contract. That was the subject of the claim filed by Los Angeles Engineering, and as a result, staff's recommendation really is to negotiate a new contract consistent with council direction. The money that's listed in on the agenda, the $3 million and change to $1,500,000, those figures now should be, if not disregarded, certainly put on the back burner. We don't know what the final figures will be for this. We still have to negotiate with LA Engineering to resolve the claim and to enter into a new contract.
Would you like me to retract my motion?
Well, you
can read this one.
You can either withdraw your motion and read that one, or you can use this as a substitute motion.
Withdraw.
Let me just ask a question which may have some bearing on that. The fact that we unilaterally attempted to rescind the contract does not in and of itself affect a rescission, does it? So, in fact, there would be an existing contract nonetheless.
There's an argument that there is, but it is not the better of the two arguments that we have, because they reacted to the contract and withdrew in response to our
anticipatory
Yep.
breach. Okay.
Yeah, arguably it was more than an anticipatory breach. We basically pulled them off the job and said the contract's terminated.
And then I think the motion would be appropriate.
And I would like to read that, Mr. Mayor.
Mr. Yusefian? Sorry, Mr. Weaver.
It is my understanding that also, I guess you're taking the money out of it because this did not include the benches and bus benches and so on and so forth, so that needed to be added on.
Well, it includes that, plus we're not certain what LA Engineers will agree to at this point in time. To just specifically say that the contract amount of X is now going to be reduced to contract amount Y with LA Engineers, we have not come to that arrangement with them yet.
Okay.
We still need, we've sort of put the cart, if not before, certainly next to the horse on this one by suggesting that or implying that perhaps we had some kind of an arrangement. What we really need to do is get council approval on this modified design option and go back to them with that and say, look, we're willing to resolve the issue on the contract with the amount. Would you be willing to do it for this? And this is why we need to do it.
So this is basically to deal with the modification of the contract, modification of design, and then we're going to go back and negotiate the contract, and that's when you come back with the actual numbers.
Yes.
Okay. And Mr. Mayor,
yes, Mr.
I think we may, I know we have been briefed on the modification of the design. I think the public who have been dealing with this since 2001 may want to get at least a very brief report of what is it we're modifying it to.
If you request, we'll be happy, I think, to bring Mr. Lanzafame up.
Mr. Mayor, members of the City Council, the planting that we are suggesting and recommending is to have a fence similar to what the MTA already has along their right-of-way, to have a fence with some type of growy vine. We have listed a potato vining here, although we'd like to go back and talk to our arborist and see if there's a better planting that we can put on there that might not be so susceptible to frost. We would also have some ground shrubs and bushes, and then we would plant trees along the right-of-way. We'll do all of this within the city-owned 3 feet off of curb. From Goodwin all the way to Grandview. We'll also include, which wasn't in your staff report, there was in our original design some idea about signage where we would have at the end of each street some type of monument signage. We'll look at a modified or design that would fit within our 3 feet and include that in this. The type of plants that are being recommended, trees are western redbud and flaxleaf paper bark trees. The shrubs are red yucca, Texas Ranger, and Indian hawthorn shrubs. The ground cover is rosemary and bluefinger ground cover. And then, as I said before, the vine, potato vine, and we'll talk to the arborist about that.
And are these indigenous plants?
Yes, they are.
So they will require minimal watering.
Yeah, I should say that the project includes irrigation.
Mr. Cadillac, why don't you come up and...
Minimal irrigation.
The materials require, Robert Cadillac, the materials require minimum water, and they will be watered with a reclaimed water system, and it will be based on a drip irrigation as opposed to a pop-up spray, so that overspray is held to a minimum.
Very good. Glad to see we're doing our part to conserve our resources. Mr. Quintero.
Do we have, I think I'm going to use the term ballpark date. Do we have a ballpark date as to when this will commence and when the greening will actually take place? Progress. What progress can we...
2007 or 2008?
I'm looking at the Director of Public Works, 120 days, 4 months? Approximately 4 months to be, renegotiate, get all the materials, construct, and be done
Really?
Be done
This year?
this year.
before the end of the year.
Part of the proposal was to do everything within the city's right-of-way so that we can have control, what we own, so we have control and we can move this project along quickly. I know the community has been waiting for it.
So within 4 months, there'll be a fence up, the planning will be in, the monument signs will be put up. Very impressed, Mr. Zarn.
Mr. Mayor, members of the council, Mr. Chair, members of the agency, all dependent upon our ability to quickly negotiate the contract. That's the key here. It would take us 4 months to get this project done, and we would hope even a little sooner, but if we run into any kind of a glitch in negotiating this contract, and I think what we're going to do, and I'll talk to my staff, is we start to see this thing bogged down, we'll get back to you sooner and just say, we can continue to beat the podium. We're very confident that we can do this. Some preliminary discussions we've had with LA Engineering, I think they want to do the job. They want to carry out this contract. They obviously have some investment and some profit that they want to get back, and I think we can accomplish all that. We just need to get this done as quickly as possible on the negotiating side.
Well, it'll be perfect planting. I mean, if we get some rains in December, January, it'll
absolutely.
green everything out.
Absolutely. If we can get this all in there by the rainy season, would be great, and get some natural irrigation.
And the fences are standard
Standard
parkway.
It's a Metrolink standard that
Metrolink
they use.
fence. That's
They
good.
have some of that fencing out there right now. You can see it, but
good. That's
we get the coverage with the landscape material. That'll spruce that up even more.
Okay. If there's no other comments or
Not
questions,
make Motion.
let's go to Mr. Weaver's motion.
I'd like to move the city council hereby approve design option 1 for the San Fernando Road Corridor Landscaping Improvement Project, Phase 3, the project, as described in the joint report to council and redevelopment agency dated July 17, 2007. The council authorizes staff to negotiate a new construction contract with Los Angeles Engineering Incorporated for the project and a resolution of its existing claim per council direction. City manager is authorized to execute the new contract with the approval of the city attorney, which new contract shall include an appropriate reserve for contingencies.
Second.
And before we ask for a roll, Mr. City Attorney, it's appropriate for me to participate in the vote.
It is, yes, sir.
Roll call, please.
Council members Draymond,
Yes.
Quintero,
Yes.
Weaver,
Aye.
Yusefian,
Aye.
Mayor Najarian.
Yes. And that's the only item.
Will we adjourn for council?
Second.
Council is adjourned.
Will we adjourn for redevelopment?
Second.
We're adjourned.
Just one look at you, and I know